Ladies and gentlemen, the Zoe What Morning Show has returned, and it's final thought time. Not enough time. We're going to do another one of these.
That's a great idea.
Really, really soon, a part 2. I think it's important. Let me just say this. You can't beat or whoop the flaws you see in yourself out of your children. I think a lot of times parents see something in their child, and in their way they're trying to whoop them in the right direction so they won't do what they did. They see that in the kid. A lot of times that happens, and you can't whoop your flaws out of your children. At the end of the day,
That's good.
You can't do that. And what I see from the majority of black parenting, not all, because there's some really great parents out there, really. And there's no absolutes in any situation. So this isn't to all of the great parents out there. But I feel sometimes that black parenting centers on violence and wisdom. If you don't take heed to my insight or wisdom, you're going to feel a certain level of violence from me. I've been seeing it my whole life. When my mother told my sister to go outside and pick 3 of the sturdiest, longest, whippiest switches and braid them together. Right? Braid those switches together for that ass. Now, did it change who I was? Not really. I can be honest. I was always a free thinker. I was always one who wanted to think outside the box. You could say I was mannish and ornery or whatever. But what I've learned from that entire situation was the younger your kids are, the more control you're in. You're a dictator. You dictate what they eat when they go to bed, what they do, what they read, all of that. But as they get older and become more centered in the identity of what it means to be themselves, you have to relinquish being the dictator and become the mentor. The one thing that I am so pleased about my children is that they respect me. Like, I can sense I don't want to disappoint my dad.
Absolutely.
Right? I can sense that in my kids. Like, don't tell dad about this D. That's what my daughter did. She'll do things like, Mom, could you sign this on her way to school? And Mom's like, well, what is this? Oh, you got a C minus? Well, why? You just was with your dad. Why didn't you? Right? Because there's a certain, I don't want to feel his disappointment. To me, that lets me know I'm doing the right thing. You understand? With my oldest son, you're about to pick a college, right? You're about to choose a college. You can't choose a college the way you choose a cell phone, right? You can't choose a college the way you choose tennis shoes. So now, me mentoring him, he's looking at the college different. How does it fit me? How do I fit into that environment? I'm like when I told him when he was going to high school, I said, this high school is a society, a culture of its own. And when you get here, you have to fight to remain you inside this society. That's how you got to do in the real world. So if you're not a mentor and you're just a dictator, you're going to lose the file and rank of your soldiers, which are your children. At some point, they're going to be like, I don't want to fight for you no more. I don't want to respect you because there's nothing behind your violence but anger, but frustration. Does that mean don't whoop your kids? No. It means you have to find a balance in everything. Most people don't have that balance. Especially if you coming home and you just frustrated because the world took a huge crap on you, you tend to crap on that which you have control over. Typically, that's your kids, right? We've got to learn how to challenge ourselves in a different way. We can't just whoop and expect them to change. They're not going to change. They're going to take that ass beating and use it for what it is. I felt your frustration. I felt your anger. I felt your pistivity at the world, at me. So now I'm going to use that as a means to take my pistivity out on the world too. We've got to teach our kids different. If your philosophy is weak, so will your spanking. Because at some point, that kid is going to outgrow the whooping. At some point, he'll be like, this shit don't hurt no more. Fuck what you talking about. I'm out. Get your licks in now. Kumo D told me a great story once. Kumo D was like, he got to the point where his mother was just whooping him. And then he got to the point where it was like, shit don't hurt no more. I could beat your ass. That's what he said to his mom. And trashed the house and left. because he could do that. At some point, your philosophy has got to take over. Most people don't know how that works. I want to